I suppose you all need proper names.
You may know the characters inside and out, but did you know their names have a special meaning? We all know that loads of movies have tons of hidden meanings, Easter eggs, and things you might have missed. Sometimes these things are hidden sneakily in the background, and other times they're right in front of your very eyes. Such as, for instance, character names. They're not always just names that the scriptwriter randomly assigned to the character, but they're often well thought out and deliberated over, with a hidden meaning or Easter egg placed within. In this video, we will take a look at different characters, all of which have hidden messages within them. From franchises referencing other franchises, throwing shade at bitter rivals, to literally telling you a character's secret in their name, get ready to crack the codes of some of your favorite movie characters. Fast and Furious is one of the biggest and most popular franchises filled with lovable rogues. Packed full of action and humor, the Fast and Furious franchise even makes cheeky winks to other movie series, including another one of the biggest and most popular franchises filled with lovable rogues. Fan favorite Han Lu, played by Sung Kang, is one such lovable rogue. And he even at one point goes by the alias Han Solo, which, as you probably guessed, is a reference to Harrison Ford's Han Solo in the Star Wars series. If only Vin Diesel went by the alias Chewie. The characters in Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool movie are all pretty dope, but none more than the lovable cab driver Dopinder. Dopinder quickly warmed to fans with his naive personality and how he was a faithful companion to Deadpool and co., even shuttling Deadpool, Colossus, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead to their battle with Ajax. But Dopinder's name is more important than being a play on the word dope. Actually, he has a personality connection to Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, the name Dopinder is a tribute and homage to Reynolds' really cool grade school friend who sadly died after being struck by lightning. A surprisingly sweet fact in a somewhat crazy movie. Let's be honest, The Rock isn't known for the originality in his characters, with most of them being muscle-bound action heroes with great fighting skills and charms smoother than Morgan Freeman's voice. In fact, The Rock seemingly gave in differentiating the characters himself with a cheeky inside joke in the movie Rampage. The movie centers on primatologist Davis Okoye, played by The Rock, trying to prevent his overgrown primate friend George from wreaking havoc and, of course, rampage alongside other mutated animals. Despite being fully CGI, Davis's relationship with George is surprisingly heartwarming, with the two often conversing in sign language. But Dwayne Johnson decided to use this as a chance to place a subtle Easter egg, with him identifying himself in sign language as The Rock as opposed to the character's name, Davis. Maybe George is a WWE fan. Elf is a hilarious Christmas caper which doesn't often take itself too seriously. But there are some more serious issues at its core, with parenting a constant theme throughout the movie. And the role of the father figure, which, seeing as the movie is partly to do with Father Christmas, isn't surprising. Throughout the course of the movie, Buddy reconnects with his estranged father, Walter, but doesn't have the opportunity to forge a relationship with his mother, Susan, due to the fact that she passed away. But he does get a chance to honor his late mother, naming his and Jovi's daughter Susie in tribute to his mother. I'm not crying, you are! Todd Phillips' Joker movie has many Easter eggs and references, primarily to the works of auteur Martin Scorsese, with hints of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy scattered throughout. But Phillips also makes a callback to one of his own movies. Robert De Niro's talk show host, Murray Franklin, introduces a character by the name of Ethan Chase, which is also the name of Zach Galifianakis' character in Due Date. Next, I want to see a Baskets/Joker crossover. Now that would be something. If you've seen Tenet, you'll know its core theme is time and how the main events are linked to another, with these events being a palindrome. This is shown in the film's villain, Andre Sator, whose last name comes from the Sator Square, a 5x5 grid of interlocking letters that reads the same in every direction. But it's not the only hidden meaning Nolan has put in his character names. Ellen Page's Ariadne is the maze builder in Inception, which is fitting, as in Greek mythology, Minos actually asks Ariadne to take control of the labyrinth, which is strikingly similar to the one the Nolan character builds. The Incredibles is pretty incredible about how subtly clever it is. An example of this is in the clever wordplay associated with the character names. Part of the premise of the movie is that the family are pretending to be regular people and try to blend in with their surroundings. This is represented by their last name, which is Parr, to indicate that they are average. Dash is also named after his superhero trait, which is running fast. Violet is named as such because she can go ultraviolet and invisible to the naked eye. And Jack Jack is named that because he has multiple powers, making him a jack of all trades. But they're not the only Pixar character names to have hidden meanings. Ratatouille's main antagonist Skinner was named after the father of behavioral psychology B.F. Skinner, who was well known for his cruelty to rats during his experiments, making his name very fitting. Meanwhile, the antagonist in Up, Charles Muntz, is apparently a subtle dig at movie producer Charles Mintz, who allegedly had a poor and strained relationship with the House of Mouse founder Walt Disney. Talk about shade.
This is crazy. I finally meet my childhood hero and he's trying to kill us. What a joke.
Pixar is by no means the only franchise to take subtle digs at old enemies in their movies. In the James Bond series, both of Bond's big bads, Blofeld and Scaramanga, were apparently the names of old-school mates of Bond's creator Ian Fleming, with them both allegedly being his rivals. There's no surprise then that they're also old enemies of his famous protagonist 007. But even post-Fleming Bond made callbacks to enemies, with Sean Bean's double agent Alec Trevelyan in GoldenEye being a reference to the film censor John Trevelyan, who apparently wasn't much of a fan of early Bond movies. By the looks of it, Bond movies weren't a fan of him either. 1010101010001. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm speaking of binary again. That's because not only is the Matrix villain Cypher a shortening of the devil's name Lucifer, but it's also a reference to binary code. That's because one of the definitions of Cypher is the symbol for zero, as well as meaning a secret code, which this whole video is about. This is ironic because he's in direct opposition to Neo, which is an anagram for one, making them 0 and 1. Pretty clever, eh? But not only is Neo the anagram of one, as he is the one to save humanity, but it also has the meaning of new, i.e. he is a newly created person who has just been made aware of the Matrix. As Bill and Ted would say, dude. On the surface, the character names in Zootopia are just cute animal names, such as Judy Hopps. But if you dig deeper on some of them, new meanings occur. For instance, Mayor Lionheart isn't just called this because he's a lion, otherwise they could have just called him Leo or something, but because he is a reference to former King of England Richard the Lionheart, who ends up imprisoned and watching his second-in-command, which in the movie is Bellwether, Prince John, who probably wasn't the thumb-sucking animated lion we saw in Robin Hood, rule in his stead, just like in the movie. Speaking of Bellwether, her name actually gives us a clue as to the actual twist of the movie, with her name being the term for someone who leads a flock of sheep, which is exactly what she does. Mind blown! Love or hate the ending of Game of Thrones, one thing that didn't surprise us is the fact that Bran Stark became the three-eyed raven. That might be because it was in front of us all along, with the name Bran in Irish meaning raven. So he really was destined for the job. You may also know that the series and the war between Bran's house Stark and their rival house Lannister was inspired by the real-life War of the Roses, which took place in England during the 1400s to take over the throne. The war was between House York and House Lancaster, making the words Stark and Lannister a play on these real-life houses. You probably already knew this one, but the meaning behind the name of our favorite member of the Sith and the universe's worst father of the year, Darth Vader, is not so subtle. Darth is a play on the word dark, while in Dutch, the word Vader is father, making the translation of his name Dark Father, which, if he was called that in the movies, that twist in Empire Strikes Back wouldn't be quite so shocking.
Who'da thought Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father?
But in Dutch, while the word Vader is spelt the same, it is pronounced differently to the way it's said in the movies. And reports claim that Lucas came up with the twist after coming up with the name Vader. If you say so, George. In terms of names giving away secrets, then we can look no further than the world of Harry Potter, with the names rife with hidden meaning. But as we don't have time for all of them, we'll just focus on two. Firstly is the former Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher Remus Lupin, who as we all know is a secret werewolf. But his secret isn't that well hidden, seeing as his first name, Remus, is in reference to the Roman myth of Romulus and Remus, brothers who were raised by wolves before Romulus founded the city of Rome. Meanwhile, Lupin means wolf-like in French, meaning his name fully translated is Wolfman Wolf-like. Okay, well kind of, but yeah, that's rather on the nose. Meanwhile, Lupin's friend Sirius Black's name also tells us the secret that he is an animagus, with Sirius referring to the star constellation Greater Dog and Black referring to, well, the color. Either way, like Lupin, his name spells out his real identity, that of the Black Dog. Last but not least, we have the Jaime Lannister of the Avatar: The Last Airbender world, Prince Zuko. Zuko initially starts off as the show's antagonist, hunting down Aang in order to appease his father and bring back honor to his name before going through a huge redemption arc and becoming one of the most loved characters on the show along with his uncle Iroh. His main goal is to reclaim honor, and seeing as Zuko, when written in Chinese characters, means just that, it makes it all rather fitting and a nice and touching way to end this video, I think. So, which ones were you most shocked by?